Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Tam's story. We're going to pick up right where we left off, right after you had your conversation with Detective Kaizen. You are
Yes.
just outside the gates, if I remember which gate, out in the Fool's Porch, just outside the North
The
Gate.
fourth porch. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pull you over to the city map. And Tam, you have a few hours before your scheduled meeting with Kaiza. What do? You have Skolna with you.
I have Skullnet with
You
me.
don't. She's not immediately apparent, but you can summon her
Sure.
to your side whenever you need
I'm
to.
going to make sure that she is. I do not remember the name of the tavern. I don't think I wrote that down. The Green something, I think, is where we're meeting. Tam would know this because he literally just made this deal, but it has been like a month for me.
That's
But we're
fair.
meeting. Uh, so I'm going to ask once I'm sure that we're like out of earshot of the guards and stuff. I'm gonna ask Sokolna at the end of our session last time. She was talking about like setting up the place, like just in case, like with a room with no windows, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go. I'm going to request that Skolna tell the others what the plan is and where we're meeting.
Okay.
Um, and I'm going to ask Skolna to go set up that room. Like I trust her to know to do whatever it is that we need. If she
Sure.
needs me, I'll help her. But for the rest of us, I am going to request, and I'm going to use Sculla as like a relay here, unless it's easy. I think I'm on the other side of the city,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask for them to see what information they can find um, about like evidence that Demerick's rule is bad for the city.
Okay.
Like bad for just general people in in the city. Um, Particularly kind of like a more sort of working class type, like the people that cannot defend themselves
Okay.
in particular, businesses that are suffering, um, families that are kind of under thumb, people that can't leave the city now that otherwise might have these kinds of things. I want them to collect stories of these people, ideally with evidence and testimony.
Okay. They will do their best, but I will say Tam would be aware, as Tam is the bard,
Yeah,
with the charisma score. He might be the best one to get.
he's gonna do it too,
Okay.
but I want as many like I don't think Tam can think of like another like Skulna can sort of deputize any one of them if she wants to take like Wash or something to help with the setup thing. Like
Sure.
I'll listen to Skulna first. Like what does Skulna think that we need to do kind of in the event of an emergency sort of situation. But like he doesn't want anybody to sit idle. They don't have a lot of time. And so he's going to send them out and he's going to do the majority of this work also.
Skolna will just convey to you, first thing and foremost, they need to bribe the tavern keeper.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Does he need me for that for convincing or do we just need money for that?
Skolna would say just money.
Okay. Um, how much do you think we'll need?
Worst comes to worst, 100 gold.
Okay.
Things go
Well,
smooth, much less.
okay. I have 92. If I give you 90, is that enough?
Give me 70. I can cover the rest.
Okay. Okay. He will hand over 70 gold to her.
Skolna heads off to the Green Leaf.
Okay.
I don't remember if that's the actual tavern name, but that is what it is now.
That's what it is now. I think that is honestly probably close to what it was.
I have a note
Okay.
here that says Leaf. I don't know what it is for, so I'm going to
Yeah, I
assume.
remember. It was leaf. It was definitely something leaf, and I don't remember what the modifier was. Okay. Can I roll some sort of history check? I'm partially looking through my notes here, but I don't know exactly where to start, so I'm gonna ask if there's a role that can give me a direction.
History works. You've been to Augur City before. You're basically rolling to see if you know, like, what part of the city might be more susceptible to this sort of thing, or like maybe like what's the upper class and what's the lower class side of town, what's the working class.
Right.
So roll a
Well, and I
history.
think I'm also interested in like, is there a side of town, like I don't know how the town is divided, if there's like the out of towners, the population, the like migrant population, if there might be Kayans in the city that are suffering.
Yeah, roll history.
That's pretty good. 22.
You know for a fact most of the immigrants and refugees that come to Augur City are kept in the Four Forges outside the city
Okay.
walls. It's originally it's like an artisan district, but it's kind of expanded into not like slums, but a lot of individuals who come to Augur City seeking shelter. They're kept outside the city walls, just maybe a little segregated, uh, especially lately. You've noticed that over your last few times here. Passing through the Four Forges, you've seen a lot of people that look out like they've been displaced. Uh,
Okay.
Also, uh, those what's the word I'm looking for here? Racism isn't really a thing, like nationalism and such. That doesn't really happen
Yeah.
anymore. There are
And there's a
still
million. Yeah.
it's a melting pot of people and races and classes. Um, Augur City is the most like extreme example of a melting pot. Uh, from tieflings to Azamar to hobgoblins and half orcs and full blown orcs and gnolls, all sorts of people live here. That being said, Fogrock and the Fairy Gate, like northern districts on the inside of the walls, those are just outside of Castletown. They're like the highest echelon of society. They're like the upper
Okay.
middle class, and for the most part, those seem to be mostly humans and dwarves. And
Interesting.
also, they seem to be mostly not necessarily native to Augur City, but their families all like know somebody who's lived here forever. They're like the most connected and oldest family, which strikes you as odd considering you pass through the old district every time you head to Cavies. But the old
Interesting.
district is just where the city was first founded. Fogrock and the Ferrygate districts, like Castletown is actually the noble district where like legal issues and stuff happen, but Ferrygate and Fogrock is where like the old
Hightown.
generations. Yeah, Hightown. Thank you. Yes.
Hightown. Okay.
So
Um,
the answer to your question is mostly if you're looking for the lower or the working class, Four
Four
Forges,
Forges.
Fool's Porch, and the chapels.
Okay. Well, I'm in Fool's Porch now.
Yep.
Um, I'm gonna look. I would like to look at businesses.
Okay.
Who is struggling?
Roll an investigation. This is not going to be hard.
Okay. 10.
10. The DC was 8, which is what you naturally rolled. You look around. The Fool's Porch is full of closed small businesses.
Interesting. Okay.
Lots of buildings that look like they were at one point a trader, a leatherworker, a tanner, a cobbler, a smith, a silversmith, a cannery. All of them are closed.
Okay.
Anything that doesn't look like it was like maybe sponsored by Hightown or an older generation family business, anything newer has not survived.
Interesting. Does it seem like these are businesses that are mostly like human? Does it not really matter? It's not really a race thing. It's more of a class thing.
It's a class thing. Uh, Most of them being closed, you can't really tell like what the race was of whoever it was that owned it.
Sure.
Some of them, the business is closed, but there's still a residence above. And you can see the residence, well, might still be occupied. Looks like it's maybe falling out of maintenance, as if they can't afford to keep up on their house.
Okay. Are there any? Is there anyone like still there?
Some of
Like that
them,
I could
yeah.
talk to?
You could...
All right.
I will say, hold on. The silversmith and the cannery. These two small businesses still have a residence attached, and you see, like, the cannery still has an old human sitting outside. Looks tired. He's sitting on a rocking chair just on the porch. It makes sense considering the time of day. It's like mid-afternoon. He looks like he's smoking a pipe and is just minding his own business.
Does is the building, is his business still open?
No, but his house is attached to it.
I gotcha. Hey, friend.
He just kind of
Hi.
like tips the pipe at you. Afternoon.
Um, Afternoon. I'm so sorry that you closed up.
He like looks over at the building and he says, "Me too." You see like a weathered sign says Taggart's Preserves. Long since
Preserves
closed.
like, oh man, like jams and jellies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Um, Tam will say, can I ask when that happened? Was it the
Yeah.
war?
A couple months ago.
A couple months ago. Because of, seems like a lot of businesses around here are closed.
Yeah.
Is it all because of the same thing? Are there like taxes or something?
Taxes. Not enough customers. People staying in the walls. Buying what have you from the old folks up in Castletown and Fog Rock.
What do they, why would they have increased your taxes if the old taxes were fine? What is it funding? Do you know?
Hmm. I have to assume the war effort. And my business considered non-essential. So, didn't get any of the, bonds or benefits folks in the walls might have got.
Oh, I see. So they funded like the armory and the steel workers and stuff,
Hmm?
but no one, but they didn't, but like they decided that having good jam in your belly is not a luxury worth having.
Well, I guess I just couldn't compete with the bigger folks selling preserves down on the inside of the plaza.
The bigger folks, what does that mean?
Oh, you know, the old Warwick factory. And he like
The
waves the pipe vaguely in this gesture, like towards the town.
is that a new factory? Or no, you said old. That's been there for a long
It's been
time.
around for forever.
I see. So you were just outmanned a little bit. More
Hmm?
people, more people versus you.
They hired out my employees right from underneath me.
Seriously?
Hmm?
Well, that's not fair.
Well, who am I to say otherwise? And he takes another puff.
A person that makes good jam, I imagine.
Well, you're right.
Will you be okay?
Hmm.
What are you gonna do now?
Oh, sell this old lot and see if I can't make ends meet, maybe north.
North. Where is North? Echo.
There's a lot north. Like you suspect with what you know, probably like in the Rimwood, like Siren's Respite, or if he's going to another major city, like maybe Greyhelm or Shona, just one of these big cities that's cheaper to live in than Augur City.
What's your name, friend?
Taggart.
Taggart.
John
So
Taggart.
you friends? You friends with any of the other people around here?
Oh, yeah, well, those that stayed. And he gestures
Same
to
thing
some of the
happened.
other businesses. Oh, yeah. All got workers poached. Customers thinned out. Couldn't pay for our own stock.
Well, that's awful, and I'm sorry.
It all happened a few months ago. The trams suddenly started coming in once maybe every couple days, loaded with cargo. And suddenly these big hat folks came down offering to buy us out. And most of us said no. So
Okay.
they started dismantling us. One at a time. I wish I'd have seen the writing on the walls at the time.
The bigger, the bigger fish in
Mm-hmm.
the ferry gate and such, they came down
Yeah.
to try to buy you out first. Was that just out of curiosity? Was that before or after Demeric took the throne?
After.
Just after. Interesting.
Yeah, about. Be honest with you, I haven't kept much notice of what's going on at the castle. It's not really my business out here. No.
Well, if they only want to know what the nobles think of who to elect as king,
Yeah, they don't bother asking me.
maybe they should.
Hmm. I'm just an old great master. They don't care what I have to say.
That's what I mean, friend. Maybe they should. Because maybe then they would care about the little guy, you know?
Yeah, maybe. What's your name, lad?
My name's Temerity Goldhorn, sir.
You seem like a nice fella. Dressed up in your mercenary's garb.
Yeah, I'm trying to do what I can, you know?
Well, I wish you
I
luck.
imagine I imagine you don't have any mercenary tasks that need completing.
Nope. I mean, unless you want to move a bunch of crates for me.
I got some other stuff to do
I
today, and I'm
figured as
honestly not
much.
I'm not very strong.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, really, the best I can do is maybe give you a song.
No. It's all right. My grandson's coming by tomorrow, and he'll help me pack. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate you talking to me. Thank you.
Hmm? You have a good day now.
You too. Tam's tail is drooping. This is very sad.
Yeah?
Um,
uh, where do you go next?
okay, so I get a sense the businesses are closing. I have this good point. I want to be on the lookout for. Actually, I want to talk to the guards. Maybe not the same guards that I was bothering before, but I
Yeah,
imagine
that's
that
fair.
there's got to be somebody somewhere.
There's lots of guards.
Yeah. I want to try to chat one of them up and see if crime's gotten worse.
Are you looking for a city guard or a Gold's Watch?
Not Gold's Watch, they don't like me.
Okay. Roll investigation. Actually, no. Roll me an insight. See if you could read
Ooh,
which guard might, because you're gonna trip over guards. They're all over the place. Which one
24.
might be okay? Yeah, you see a guard, maybe a couple blocks away. You're walking through the Fool's Porch. You're passing through some side streets, and you see a guard is kind of holding up a wall. Helmet is off. He's a half orc, and he is chewing on what looks like maybe a piece of hardtack, which just is as pleasant as it sounds.
Sure.
And you see him like gnawing on it. He's distracted and bored.
Hey,
Afternoon.
can I ask you a question?
You need directions?
No, I'm kind of I'm new around here, mercenary. He kind of gestures to the Marigard
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But my rogue, I can't find my rogue. Um,
That's
and
common, I
she's
hear.
usually the yes, it's a pretty common problem among mercenaries. She likes to play tricks. But it basically means that I'm a little worried about my coin purse.
Uh-huh.
What places should I avoid?
Let's see. Well, this ain't a great place if you're watching your
Okay,
pockets. Uh, Stay out of the east end of the chapels.
okay,
It's a real shame, but that's where a lot of the hungry are ending up.
yeah.
Yep.
Why are they so hungry?
Can't
Because of the
afford none.
war? They get displaced from their houses or something?
Hmm. Roll a persuasion check.
Yep. 15.
He kind of, like, you hear this as he takes, like, finally a chunk of this hardtack breaks off, and he just, and, like, spits out, like, a bit of burnt end of it, and he goes, all right, you're new around here, you said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't know how long I'm staying. It's kind of a job thing.
Well, times are tight around here.
Yep.
A lot of businesses going under. A lot of people losing jobs they couldn't afford to lose. A lot of places, a lot of homes, people are renting out. They can't pay the rent. But most of us in the guard can't really justify kicking people out onto the street. So we don't even go in the east end of the chapels anymore.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's if there's a problem, a serious one, we'll get a squad together and enter. But otherwise, it's dangerous around there. So
It's kind of forsaken. Has it? Are you a native here? Has it always been like this?
born and raised, and nope,
What what happened? Was the war?
it all went to hell when Strongarm died.
Okay.
I don't know who it is that's giving me my orders now, but I don't necessarily agree with them.
Demeric, I think his name is,
You
right?
really think the king is telling me what to do on my beat?
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Do you so? But you don't answer to the Gold's Watch, right? They're separate from you.
Yeah, they're a bunch of uptight piss pots.
You know, I heard um, somebody told me that those uptight piss pots all work for the king now.
I bet they do. Explain why they all got fresh, brand new armor.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you actually care, I report to Sergeant Meter.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Hmm.
I just, I thank you. My rogue would kill me if I lost more gold, you know?
Yep. Just stay to the main streets. Out of the chapels are mostly okay, just not east side of it. You'll be all right.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Hmm.
What's your name?
Sully.
I'm Tam.
He just
Um,
holds out a gauntleted hand.
yeah, he'll shake.
Stay
You
safe.
don't need anything. You don't need anything, right?
You got anything better than this rock of bread?
I think I only got rations.
You get the impression he's mostly joking.
But we could play dice. Might pass the time. I don't know if you're allowed to do
Hmm.
that while you're
Can't do that.
guarding.
Got to be paying attention.
Gotcha.
At least they got to look
Yeah,
like it.
I'm familiar with this concept. Um, okay, I really appreciate your time,
As
and
you
thanks
were,
for the
Tam.
intel.
Oh, killed a few minutes of my time. That'll do.
There's no one else you think I could talk to that might know more about the situation. I'm just trying to get the lay of the land.
What situation? What do you mean?
Like the way that things have changed. I was here when I was a kid, like way long ago, and I'm a bard. I'm interested in stories. Change is, a story.
Hmm. Kind of like scratches at the scruffy, kind of unkempt goatee, and he kind of tilts his head. I'm gonna talk to an old local then, older than me. Uh, he thumbs behind him in the west side of the chapels. Do you read much?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Westerly papers, if you can get a conversation with old Knock. Halfling runs the place. He might have something for you.
Okay. Old
He
knock.
writes the news sheet for the West Chapels, so he might have an idea.
That's good to know. I appreciate that.
Hmm?
Thanks. I appreciate it, Sully.
And he just continues chewing on his hardtack.
Cool. Um, I'm gonna look around for like a bakery of some kind.
Okay. Roll investigation.
Okay. No. 4.
Well, you find a vendor on the street, a cart vendor. Uh, it's not really a
Suspect.
bakery, but
Hmm.
he's selling sausage rolls.
Sure, I will get a sausage roll for Sully.
Oh, okay. Yeah, each one is like 3 copper.
Sure. I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna drop it off for my friend.
He like is like a quarter of the way through the hardtack when you return, and he's like, "You forget something?"
No. Did
Oh,
I hold over the,
you didn't have to do that.
hey, guards gotta eat. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
He like salutes you, and the hardtack seems to somehow find its way into the dirt, and he just like kicks the dirt over it and takes the sausage roll, and he says, "You just made my day a whole lot better. Thank you."
This is what I try to do. I'm kind of a weird mercenary.
I'll say
I prefer to solve conflicts with words. um, you know,
most of
and
yous I've
it's
met
not.
wouldn't look another way without a coin involved in it.
Well, it pays to be kind.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And he just takes a
You have a good day.
large bite out of the sausage roll.
Fantastic. Cool. I'm gonna avoid the places that Sully told me to avoid. And I'm gonna try to get to the West Chapel by avoiding the East Chapel.
So, okay, if you're
Um,
looking at the map, you can see this main street here that basically divides the chapels outside this gate, outside the
yes.
east gate. Uh, the east chapels is this whole area here. The
Okay.
west chapels is what's lining this street. So
Gotcha.
it's not hard to stay out of the east chapels. But
Taking the
as
main road, etc.
yeah, the thing that is interesting, roll me a perception check to see if you notice it.
Ooh. Okay. Come on, Tam. Percept well for me. That's not very good. 8.
You get a vibe. As you're going down the main street, to your left, is the West Chapels. It feels just uncomfortably quiet, like you're being perceived. And
Mm.
as you're seeing other people are walking on the street, you notice they are like they'll glance toward the alleys that lead into the West Chapels, but they won't. They're like it's almost like giving them a berth, like everyone's on the right side of the street.
It's not like a magical anything.
No,
It's
it's
just like it's just a vibe. It's just a bad vibe.
Imagine you're walking through the ghetto late at night.
Okay, okay. But it's
It's
not even late at night. It just doesn't
no,
feel
it's just
great.
the afternoon, yeah. And you also
Got it.
notice you don't see any guards.
Yep, as predicted. Yes.
Yep.
All the stuff, is this stuff that oh my gosh, what's her name? Kaiza. Is this stuff that she is likely to have noticed?
Probably. I think you would piece that together as she's detectiving in this town.
Right.
Like, if it's stuff that the guards can tell you, she probably knows.
Yeah. And she's not, as a reminder, she's not, is she in the guard or the Gold's Watch?
She is specifically in the Gold's Watch.
She's in the Gold's Watch. But she's from Shore Watch, which is not here, so she's theoretically not loyal to Demeric already.
Theoretically.
Cool. All right. I would like to talk. I want to see if I can find this knock
Westerly
person.
Papers.
Yes, Westerly Papers.
Okay. Yeah. You head toward the east side of the chapels, and you are. It's not hard to find, as there is a crier outside Westerly Papers holding up news sheets and declaring out the news. You don't even have to roll an investigation. You're like walking in that direction and you hear somebody shouting what's going on in the immediate area.
Okay. Is there anything interesting?
You listen to the crier for a moment. You learn a few things. There are bandits that are being problematic on the Eastern Highway. Employment is miserably low. It seems the crier goes on to shout that if you don't have a job or you don't know somebody who has a job, buckle up. And you better get good at odd jobs because there ain't much. There's he lists off three, the next headline is these three different businesses closed. Then he goes on to say that the Silver Express is doing better than ever.
Oh, great.
The tram station is hiring for several positions, he shouts. And then as you're approaching, the crier looks at you. He's maybe 14. Are you looking for a job, mister?
I have a job, unfortunately, but you're doing great.
I'm supposed to say if it falls apart, you should report to the Silver Express. They're hiring for rail layers. Rail layers. I don't know what that
Rail
means.
layers. I think that means people that are putting the railway track down, right? They're laying the rail.
You would think that, but the tram doesn't use a track, so
Huh.
I don't know. It's just what it says.
I sure hope that doesn't mean that they're looking for people to lay under the train.
I hope not. It says to talk to Goldgrave if you're interested.
Goldgrave.
Goldgrave. It just says he's at the tram station.
How come, do you have an idea how come the Silver Express is doing better than everything else even though all the other businesses are closing? Is it because everyone wants to leave town? Why is that? Okay.
I just cry out the paper, mister. I'm sorry.
You just cry out the paper. Hey, you would get a little bit more lift in your voice if you breathed like this from your diaphragm.
Give me a general charisma roll.
21.
He takes a deep breath. Hastily mates at an old time sale. It gets he's significantly louder, and he's like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah. You need to know how to be loud. You ask a bard.
I'll remember that. And he just continues crying the paper.
I'm gonna pat him on the head and give him guidance.
Okay. He's wearing one of those Piper caps, so
Sure.
you guidance him, and he just nods to you as he continues crying out the paper. And immediately you see someone come over and take a news sheet and drop coin in.
Excellent.
So
Fantastic.
immediate benefit. The doors to Westerly Papers is open.
I will go through.
It is loud in here.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I don't think Tam has ever been in a press workshop or a papers
I
workshop.
don't think so. I don't think
Um,
so. The chaos is will strike him, and he will look wide-eyed for a moment.
yeah. Uh, there's people running back and forth in all sorts of crazy directions. It is loud. Above all else, more than anything else, I think Tam might be finding it hard to get out of the way. Just as people are like
Okay.
running back and forth with like blocks of print letters and they're just like
Sure, sure,
shoving
sure.
past him. You also notice
Chaos.
almost everyone in here is a halfling.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a couple humans and a couple. There's like one dragonborn over at the press, but everyone milling about is halflings.
Is there any chance that anyone doesn't look actively running around and busy?
Yeah, there's okay, so like there's like a counter with like a few chairs in front of it to the right,
Okay.
where as you enter, you see a halfling woman look up and says, "Welcome to Westerly Papers. Can we help you?" And there's a few
Uh,
other like people just sitting around waiting, and you see like some of them have like stacks of books, and they just look like they're waiting to be seen.
um, is there any chance I could talk to Knock?
She blinks. You have an appointment?
I don't. I'm sorry.
She like glances at the timepiece. Well, what is it regarding?
I don't have a lot of time, but I'm trying to make the city better. Um,
She leans forward on the
and
counter and just like puts her chin on her hands like you too.
yeah, I promise I'm not here to sell you anything. But genuinely, do you know my friend Sully, the guard? I was asking. I'm a bard. I'm trying to document the changes in the town, and everyone is telling me talk to Knock. He knows everything that's going on, and I'm not here for very long. But I figured if I was going to talk to one person, he would be the person to talk to.
Roll me a persuasion.
Okay. 19.
19. Uh she looks at you for a long moment. She looks down and she opens up a book. Uh she makes a note. And you notice that her hand is still open, like on the edge of the book. You get the impression she's waiting for something.
Okay. I will. I don't have very much gold. 5 gold?
Okay. You slide of hand 5 gold into her hand.
Yep.
Roll sleight of hand.
17.
Okay. She closes her hand around the gold and it seems to like vanish over the edge of the desk and she says, "Down the hall behind me. Last door on the left."
Thank you kindly.
Tell him Molly sent you.
Sure will.
What do you do?
He'll go. He'll go, and he'll go in. Last door on the left.
Okay. The door is shut, and you see it says, like, on a glass window that's frosted, it just says, Taylor Knock.
Taylor knock. Okay. He will knock.
Come in.
Hi. Molly sent
If
me.
this is about today's issue, it's going to be... We've already got it on the presses, so there's no changes to be made.
It's not about that.
He, like, has not looked up to see who you are yet. You see he has, like, numbers of sheets in front of him. Not about that.
Your person at the desk, Molly, sent me in.
He takes his spectacles off. Ah. Right. What is it then? Is this legal?
He'll. Yeah, I promise. It's nothing. You write stories. I'm looking for stories.
I edit
But
stories.
you edit stories. My name's Tam. I'm a bard with the Merigard Academy. Um, I'm tracking the changes in the city,
Hmm.
especially those that happened after the ascent of the new king. I was I'm not a local here, so everyone keep telling me that you're the person to ask. So I was wondering if you could spare a couple minutes and just tell me what the tapestry of the city is like
Roll a
now.
persuasion.
20.
Taylor Knock, this halfling who's seated behind the desk, looks up at you. You see he's an older halfling, uh, gray, like is salt and peppered through, like auburn hair, and he kind of like looks past you and he says, "Shut the door.
He will.
Have a seat.
Yep.
Where are you from again?"
Uh, KO. Coda City.
I meant, who do you work for?
The Merigard.
And you're here to keep track of the changes that's been happening.
Yep.
Why? Is this a Merigard sanctioned activity?
Yes.
There's been lots of changes. Lots of concerning ones.
Yeah, I know.
We have refugees coming in from all sides of the nation. We have mysterious trams full of freight that no one's allowed to look at coming into the Silver Express. We have rumors of rebels being stirred up on the other side of the city.
Rebels?
Rebels. Folk
Rebels
dissatisfied
against.
with our new king.
Okay.
Parties and balls that are thought to be actual meeting grounds for, you know, the high and noble and wealthy folk to complain at each other about who's in leadership. But that's
You
all
think
too
they're gonna do
boring
it?
to run stories about.
Boring? That doesn't sound boring to me.
You've never heard a noble complain for very long, have you?
Oh, I see. You think they're gonna do anything about it if they're so unhappy?
Anything that money can pay for? Eventually. But they'd have to get angry enough to actually make a difference.
And they won't do that until their funds dry up.
Mm-hmm. Everything's about money for them. But that's only half the town. The other half seems quite happy and content. Those that run the old businesses. They seem to be making
Really?
money hand over fist.
Why? Because of the war? Was it only the ones related to the war effort?
No. At first I expected that. But as people talk and people complain and I listen, people are making money in businesses that have no right to be doing well during wartime. Designer
Like
tailors,
preservatives.
canneries, aye. Luxury furniture makers.
Are these all? Is it all local goods? Is it all going into the ferry gate? And
None of it's leaving town.
I see. So some deals were made then.
Seems like it.
Maybe deals to get the king on the throne.
Hmm. Maybe. I wouldn't know anything about that.
It seems to me, the rumor that I've picked up, just from my outside perspective, is that during the lands moot, there were a
The
bunch
King's
of
Moot.
nobles. The King's Moot, sorry, Dragon Age lands meet. Um, there were a lot of nobles that could have been there that weren't there for one
Mm-hmm.
reason or another.
Lots of stories of inconvenient waylayances and lost invitations.
seems to me that to me, to my foreign ear, sounds like a king that bought his power rather than earning it fair and square.
It sounds like that to a domestic ear as well. But us little folk down here, we don't have a whole lot of say. It's not like we're
Yeah,
represented.
sure isn't. This rebellion, is it developing in the quarters that have been the hardest hit?
I'm not a spy master, mister. I don't
Yeah.
have any fucking clue. What I know about a rebellion is what I've heard on the wind. Conversations I've picked up from taverns. Mutterances on the streets. What my journalists have been able to find out, at the cafes and such. They bring me stories. I read them, I edit them, and I either put them in the news sheets, or I save them for when things are less hot.
Sure.
And
I
unfortunately,
imagine.
I do have to toe a line to keep the Gold's Watch from shutting us down.
I imagine that there are stories that people ask you to kill all the time.
You'd be surprised. Or rather, I imagine you wouldn't.
I don't think I would be. That sounds bad. I'm sorry that you're living under it.
Roll another persuasion.
26.
26.
I finally rolled above a 10.
Yeah. If you really want to get into the meat of this, next time a tram comes in, pay attention to how many Gold's Watch loiter about the freight cars. No one else is around near it.
Do you have an idea of what's coming into the city?
Something they don't want regular people looking at.
All right. I guess I should go watch a train then.
Like clockwork, they're in at 9 o'clock every night.
Nock, I really appreciate this.
I just hope you can actually make a difference. And if this turns out to bite me in the ass, I do have friends.
It won't. It won't. I can tell you, if I don't do my job effectively, I won't be here anymore. I'm not a threat to you.
That's morbid.
No. I won't be in this city. I'll just be transferred.
I was just hoping not to have to write another obituary.
No. But I would rather make a difference. It's just, I'm one person, and it's got to be little by little.
Tell you what, you find something about those trams, anything about what's really going on with that rebellion, you bring it to me and I'll have something of interest to you.
Okay. Deal. I appreciate it, sir.
Me as well. I do have work to do, though.
Okay. You do have work to. I have never been in a press. It's so loud and it's so busy, and you're amazing for doing this.
The news never sleeps.
Clearly not. I'm gonna give a little strum on my fiddle and give him a bardic inspiration.
Okay, you do that. Keep a track of those.
Yep. Oh, I am.
Okay. All right. So you make your way out of Westerly Papers, or do you have something else you want to do here?
I want to just like hang around. How far away is the tram from me?
So the tram station, if you're looking at the map, is this.
Yes.
It's this big blob in the middle of
big
the
building.
chapels.
Okay.
That's actually the opening. That's the tram yard, and Westerly Presses is this building here. So you're really not far at all.
I'm not far at all. Great. It's not 9 o'clock. Is my meeting before or after 9 o'clock?
I believe your meeting was at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. Okay, so we got a thing to do after the meeting then, presuming it goes well. Okay. I want to just check out. I'm gonna go talk to that guy, the little town crier guy.
Okay. You
And
approach
maybe
the town crier.
yeah, no, the town crier. No, the town crier said to go talk to
Oh, Golgrave.
Goldgrave. Yeah, I want to see if anyone. I want to look at what the unemployment line looks like. How many people are going to follow up on that opportunity and see what I can overhear.
Okay. As
Like
you,
I already clearly have a job,
yeah.
so I want to just like get a sense of how long is the line to that office.
Okay. So you head to the Silver Express. You head to the station to see what it looks like. Uh, Firstly, it's cramped. There's a lot of people that are looking, they're waiting for trams or they're like buying tickets, and there's a lot of vendors on the inside of the tram station. Uh, I think, one moment. Yes. This is what the Silver Express looks like on the inside. Uh, though it is not as hectic as Westerly Papers, it is nearly as cramped. Uh, Sal says hi.
Oh, hi Sal.
The Silver Express is extremely busy, and it's entirely busy with people that are milling in and out or waiting for trams. And they're also visiting all these various vendors along the sides of the tram station for people that are just waiting for wherever they're going. And these vendors look like they're doing well. They look like they have regular business constantly. Next to the tickets office, you see there is a small table set up. And you see there is a pretty like business attire looking human that's just seated behind it. And you see there's a long line of people.
Is there a name tag? Is this gold something? Gold grave?
You don't see that specific name, but you do see on the front of the table it says work opportunities.
Ah, I see. The line is very long.
Yeah, at least 40 people.
Okay, can I ask one of them, is all this for the track laying job?
A dwarf that you just happen to ask looks up and says, "Oh, why it is. Are you interested?
Can I? Well,
Rail
I'm
lane,
I'm
I
a
think."
I I'm just curious what that is because there's not a rail, right? Like, what actually are you doing?
He like he opens up like a little paper pamphlet, and he points. Well, the Silver Express tram glides Earth glide style on sand,
Hmm.
and that sand is set within two channels of stone. The rail. So, from what I understand,
Oh,
they need masons and rock layers to
to
build the
carve the
rails
rail.
and fill the sand in.
I see. Do you know where they're going? Have they said?
No,
Yeah, it's fair.
but
Well,
it says they'll be paying for board and tents and such and rations, and the
wow.
pay itself is it's not bad at all. It's 2 silver a
I
worker
am
a
not.
mile.
That's okay. Um, I am not in any way a mason, so I wouldn't be able to do this job. But I was curious, oh, how does a tram that doesn't have track? I guess it does have track. The answer is it does have rails.
Right, it just glides on sand between earth and rails.
Are you a mason?
He like kind of looks down at himself and he says, "Aye, I'm a dwarf.
I mean, you're.
We're all
Yeah,
masons.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to assume.
It's the oldest tradition there is, mister."
Do you have stone sense? Is that a thing?
He blinks. "I don't know what you mean."
Okay, I don't know. Um, I I have a friend that's a dwarf. I don't know what things she says that are real and what things is just her pulling my leg.
He shrugs.
But I assumed that all dwarves were not masons, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Every dwarf should have a knack. Oh, they're
I
not a
see.
real dwarf.
I see. I see. Well, I wish you good luck. I'm sure you'll get it. I mean, you've got the knack for it.
Damn right I do. Figure,
My
lay
name's
down
Tam.
8 miles a day. I'll be eating well.
Yeah, that's a gold. You got this.
It's more than a gold. It's a gold and a half.
Gold and a half. That's true. That's true. Two silver. That's right. Two silver for a. Yeah, you're right. You got this.
You're damn right I do.
Give him guidance.
And as you kind of, like, you do that, he just says, by Drunmere, we grow.
And the fiddler listens.
He just smiles at you and then turns back to wait in line.
Okay. Um. All right. I had one more thing I was gonna ask Knock while I was in there, and I forgot. I didn't look at my notes. Um, is there any chance I could be able, through Knock or someone else, to ascertain someone whose previous job was Gold's Watch? Like anyone that like in that mass layoff that happened, is there any way that I could have any leads on those sorts of people?
On an ex-Gold's Watch member.
Yes.
Nock would have told you that he didn't know of any.
Okay.
So, maybe, but he doesn't know of them.
That's fair. Is there any I imagine that none of the Gold's Watch don't like me generally. Um, understandably. I'm kind of a lot. Um, and I've been a thorn in their side. Is there any place that I might that Tam might know more than me for leads for that kind of thing, or is that a well that might be dry?
To look for an ex-Gold's Watch member, um, really you'd need to be on speaking terms with a Gold's Watch member.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
most of
know
the
one of them,
time, you do know
and I'm
one.
going. I know one, and I'm going to be talking to her later.
For the most part, members of Gold's Watch wear a full helm, and Paiza the Detective is kind of an exception. Like, you haven't seen that many Gold's Watch members.
Sure. Is there anyone? Okay, I'm gonna head back to Cabby's. Is there anyone at Cabby's that might have this information? Because we're on the lookout for Gold's Watch, and I've been told that this is what happened, that the Gold's Watch are loyalists. That information had to come from somewhere.
Okay, you head back to Cavies. Uh, it's fairly busy. Let's see. Who do you ask?
If he's not busy, I'll ask Cabby, but I can ask Alacaster too, because he has that information, but he hasn't been here, so I imagine he might not know.
Alacaster doesn't know. And you get that immediately. Alacaster's just like,
Yeah, sure.
that's beyond me. But asking Cavi, ex-Gold Watch member. Let's see here. They roll for him. He seems a little alarmed by your question. Uh, he asks, well, how X are we talking here?
I was trying to figure out. So I have to convince a Gold's Watch person tonight to like not continue to investigate this. Um, and I figure it might be useful for her to know what happened in the purge of the last Gold's Watch. So it would be useful to talk to someone that was not a loyalist to a certain person.
I see. Um, okay. One comes to mind. He was Gold's Watch a year ago, I think. He retired last year. I think he's just lives up the river.
Okay.
Uh, lives with his wife. I think his grandkids have gone on to do other things, but Gavin McKinnon is his name.
Gavin McKinnon. Is it okay? Does he know you well? Is it okay if I say, hey, Cavi gave me your name? Or is that not okay?
Um, I mean, he's been
It's
in
okay
here a
if it's
couple
not.
times, but I
Okay.
wouldn't say it was ever, like, too kindly or there was no
Sure, sure, sure.
animosity.
Okay. I just, I don't know. I guess if he retired, it's not as useful to me. I just was curious what it was like for the Gold's Watch before the change in leadership versus after.
I see. That might be a question for, well, that's a good question. Now that I think about it, I can't think of any Gold's Watch that got laid off and they're still here.
Then what
I knew
happened
a
to them
few of
all?
them. I don't know.
Anyone I could, anyone I could track down? What happened to them? Do we know?
Cavi's like thinking about it. Over that week, there was a few that news came in. They were moving to Quarterstone. A couple others, I heard never from them. I heard they were sailing to Trident for moisture climates. Those are the only ones I know of, but none of them stuck around.
And the rest of them just didn't come back in or they disappeared.
I wasn't honestly on speaking terms with very many because this isn't a guards bar, and
That's fair. What would be a guards bar? Maybe I could talk to them.
uh, there's one outside the Fool's Porch gate. Um, I can't remember the name, but it's like you'll know it when you see it. It's got lots of silks and curtains and such, and guards in it.
Okay.
You realize he's describing where you met Kaiser.
Where I met Kaiser with the fizzy lemonade. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Um,
was it this seems familiar? Okay. Okay. How I appreciate that, Cavi. Thank you very much.
no problem. He like leave him looking a little troubled as he's thinking about it.
Is there before I go, is there anything so I'm gonna kind of just like real quick lay out like here are the things that I found in the city that are like difficulties within the city. Is there anything else that comes to mind? You're a bartender, you meet with a lot of people. Is there anything else that has crossed that would cross your mind to bring up as a concern?
Yes. I haven't had to deal with it, but from what I hear, there's a couple, how do you, criminal families, I guess. They've kind of just appeared. Uh, I know they run a gambling house. If you were to ask me specifics, I wouldn't be able to give them to you. I just know that they're in the chapels. Um,
Are they new criminal families, like, or have they been here forever?
they haven't been here forever. That's for sure. I've just heard the tale of families controlling sections of neighborhoods out in the chapels.
You think that would have maybe happened after the king changeover?
It was only within the last few months, so yep.
Okay, so after the guard stopped policing there, that makes sense.
And some of those enforcers have been poking around other places to see if.
Here?
No, not here. But maybe, out in Four Forges and stuff. I hear word of
Oh,
people trying to set territory.
okay. Maybe try to get some shakedown money.
Yep.
trying to shake down refugees. Awful.
It's just what I've heard.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kevy.
Yep.
How much time do I have until my... I've been running around
You
all
don't have
day having
much.
conversations with people. Yeah. So I don't have time to get to Four Forges. Probably don't have time to get to the guards bar.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. I'm going to uh, be early for the meeting then.
Okay.
Meet up with
Uh,
my friends.
you head to the Greenleaf.
Yep.
It looks a lot like this because this is the splash art that we have for
This is splash
taverns.
art. This is the only good splash art for tavern. Yep.
It is upsetting that that is the case, but that is the case. The Greenleaf is fairly busy. It's a comfortable-looking tavern, not as nice as Cavi's, but suitable. You find the rest of your party about in the tavern. When you arrive, Skolno, bumps up next to you and puts a key in your hand, and then she points to the corner room. Unfortunately, the Greenleaf doesn't really have multiple floors for rooms, but they do have rooms along the first floor. And she points to the corner.
Okay.
One window. It's curtained. Best I could do.
Perfect. We're gonna be just fine. The hard part is I don't know if she's gonna trust me enough to have a conversation that private.
Skolno looks at you and she just says, I doubt it.
Yeah.
But it's there if it happens.
It's there. Do you have anything to sedate her with if it comes to that?
Skolna, blinks and then, from within her vest, a vial of a purple liquid appears. And then she tucks it away.
Okay. I'm gonna trust you if we need it and only if we need it.
All right.
I'm gonna trust you to get that into her drink.
No.
No?
Injury only.
What?
Injury only.
What do you mean?
It doesn't work through drinking it.
Oh, I see. So you would have to, wound her.
Yes.
Okay. If we have to, can you wound her a little bit and not make it look like you're wounding her? Yes, of course you can do that. You're great at that, I imagine.
Skolno blinks.
Skolna, is that a yes?
She, walks away to find a corner.
Okay. Tam, Emily is not sure what the signal for this should be. But I feel like for Tam, it will be like a pattern with his tail that he will flick to her if we need it in the, in case of emergency, break glass
Okay.
sign. It is clear from Tam's face and entire demeanor that that is not how he wants this conversation to go.
Sure. Sagona, appears next to you and she says, "Oh, I've had a busy day."
Have you really? What have you talked about to people?
Right. Well, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't respond well to me. But I've learned a couple things.
You're a delight. What have you learned?
She tells you a fraction of what you've learned.
Okay.
You really get the feeling that you probably got more than Sagona ever had a chance of getting.
Sure.
But you do learn there's a rumor of maybe a 14 or 15-year-old kid that was investigating the trams, and he got caught.
Oh, shit.
No one knows what happened to him. Nobody knows.
Did he match the description of this guy that I taught how to scream really loudly?
No.
Okay.
There's more than one 14-year-old kid in Augur City.
Oh, this is good. It's just that we talked about the trams, and I was like, "Oh no, did I make
No,
this
no, no.
happen?"
It's
Okay.
complete. Like this rumor's from weeks ago.
Okay.
But no
No
one
one,
is really
no one knows.
sure. No one knows who it was. It's just word of mouth.
Okay. Anything else? Anything from Wash or the rest of my team?
Hiram would have something for you.
Ooh, what does
Hiram
Siren say?
Hiram would tell you a lot of the fishing, like the river fishing businesses that happen just alongside the front of Augur City, a lot of them have been bought out.
Okay.
They're all being bought out by a business called Whitewater Hatcheries.
Okay.
And either people, like the owners are being bought out and then they're moving away, and all the workers either take their new jobs at much less pay, or they're quitting to go work elsewhere.
Terrible. Okay. Good to know.
Wash does
That
not have
matches-
anything new for you.
Wash doesn't speak common very well, so
No.
that's fair.
She's frankly, like when you ask her, she's like, "I hope in the future you don't ask me to do something like this again."
That's why I said that you could set up with Skull. I'm sorry.
Otherwise,
Was it at least useful to listen to people?
she shrugs.
Okay, well, I owe you 5 lessons on common.
She like blinks and she says, "I thought you were going to teach me anyway."
I am going to teach you anyway, but we've been putting it off because we're busy. But I promise we're going to do a lesson tonight, okay?
Okay.
After we investigate this train thing.
Train? What?
He will explain to her in her own language, in Primordial, so she doesn't have to work very hard.
Okay.
What's going on with her? He's basically just going to run through everything,
Sure.
so she's caught up with it.
You realize there's not really a word in Primordial for tram. So you end up with like big stone long carriage, basically, is the best you can do, and she seems to understand. It is after your conversation with Wash that Kaisa Nell, you spot her entering the tavern. She goes straight to the bar, collects a mug, and she turns around and she sees you. It's clear she's good at picking someone out of a crowd.
Before she does this, because I was going to be looking for her, can I cast Enhance Ability on myself?
Yeah?
Okay, cool. Alright, cool. I have advantage on persuasion checks for an hour.
What are you doing when she sees you?
I think I am loitering at the bar, chatting with the bartender.
Okay. She says, "There's an empty table. Let's grab it."
Okay.
It's a little secluded off in the corner. It's like in a not well lit spot. Like there is a single lantern in that corner, but it's clearly not as comfortable as a lot of the other seats are, which is why it's empty. And she slides down, sitting with her back to the wall. All right. You wanted to talk.
You get any further in your case?
You wanted to talk.
I was just curious. I have a different mystery for you.
Great. She looks like she thuds the mug down and leans forward, and she says,
I think
is
it's
this
one
a
you're
game?
gonna want. I think it's one that you're gonna want to solve.
Am I getting okay?
What happened to all the previous What made all of the Gold's Watch quit so readily after the king just changed over?
They docked the pay.
They docked the pay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They cut the pay quite a lot in favor for new blood.
So people went for other jobs.
Yep.
But you took the job anyway.
This is what I trained for. He told me I could work my way up, get into some serious cases and make money based off them. So, here I am.
Have they given you any serious cases?
I'm working a homicide.
You are? That's true.
There's a lot of money in it, so.
But are you able to solve the bigger problems here? How long have you been here? Remind me.
Roll of persuasion.
You said you came here for the people, right? The
Yes.
city. That's what you care about, is the city. $29.
29. She takes a swig from the mug. She sets it down. It's my second month. First big case. Yeah, I care about the people. I came here to learn how to protect the city.
What have you seen with your detective eyes in your 2 months here?
It's a shithole.
Some of it is.
A lot of it is. It looks fancy at a glance, but there's a lot of muck under the boots.
And are you on the side of the muck or the boots?
I'd like to think I'm on the side of the muck.
Okay.
Why are
So
you
aren't-
here? You told me you're after a contract on Eniga.
I'm on the side of the muck.
Okay.
My job is to see how much you are too.
She like rubs at the bridge of her nose. What does that mean to you?
What do you mean, what does that mean to me?
What you just said. How much on the side of the muck I am. What does that mean to you?
That means, are you gonna get bought off or shut up the way the rest of the Gold's Watch has in favor of the new king?
What? What are you
That's
talking
what
about?
happened. That's what happened. Have you solved the mystery of when all those businesses started to close? When they stopped, policing the chapel gate, when the crime families moved in, when the trains started running mysterious goods back and forth?
What are you no, that's not.
When did all that happen? You're smart, I know you know.
Before my time.
Uh-huh. You think that the city has changed significantly.
Look,
If you want to actually help most of these people, the muck, most of the people that are having a difficult time right now, the refugees, the downtrodden, there's really one major force.
there's nothing I can do about the refugees. Okay, there's nothing I can do that would just put money in the hands of those that need it. The best I can do is to try and keep the people who's taking money from them, like the McKay family, which you so kindly brought up. The best I can do is shut down them every time I find them doing something that I can actually pin them on. As far as these businesses that are falling apart, there's nothing I can do about it when it's legal. I wish I could. I wish I could shut down the companies that are buying out these small businesses, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Yes. You can.
Please. Okay, so last time we spoke, you were the lost little kid who just had this job and was in bone muck trouble with your boss, and now you have all the answers for me?
I needed you to come here. I needed you to talk to me. You needed me to not be a threat.
So you lied to me.
I'm a bard.
Yeah, okay, how do I know none of this is bullshit too?
I'm Kayan.
So?
So I haven't talked to my family in a year and a half. And they've been in trouble because the borders are closing, and now they're not even in their homes anymore. The war is happening because Demric is on the throne.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Maybe not directly.
What does that mean? Are you... What are you hinting at, Tam?
The guy that you were shaking down for information a couple nights ago, Eniga,
Yeah?
what did you find on him?
Roll a persuasion.
$29.
She seems to scowl, and she takes another drink, and then she leans forward. A connect for Riverine.
A connect for... Sorry, say it again, Echo.
Riverine. Roll a history check.
That's a natural one.
Tam has no idea what Riverine is. It's expensive metal. Really, really expensive metal.
Like war-like metal, like adamantine.
It's magical.
Okay.
They say it's... She then, glances at you and she says, "You're sure you're Kayan?"
I am. I was raised by clerics, though, so I wasn't always a mercenary.
Okay. Well... Lots of Riverines from the Shatter Spine in the northern coast of Kao. It's metal made of, well, water. Riverine.
Interesting. Yeah, sure. Poetic name. Like it.
He said a lot of it's coming in, but there's none anywhere. It's not being sold, it's not being traded. So I don't know where the fuck it is. I need an assurance here, Tam. How do I know you're not just manipulating me as a bard? I don't know. I haven't told you anything incriminating, which is great.
I know, which is great. I don't need you to incriminate yourself.
What do you want?
I need to trust you.
Why?
Because the people I work for need somebody to trust on the inside.
Roll a persuasion check.
Natural 20. 31.
Okay. She leans back. She takes another long drink. You see her like she's reading you. You feel like those piercing brown eyes are like cutting into you to try and read your fucking soul right now. And with a 29 on insight, they get pretty deep.
Yep.
She says, with a different tone of voice, "What do you work for?"
Echo, I do not remember the name of the people. Well, 'cause they have a name of they have like a rebellion name, right? Friends or something like that.
They don't have like
There's
a title.
they don't have a
At
title.
least not really. They have the like retrieval project that they're working on, but they don't have like a name yet.
Sure. Okay. Um, they don't. There's not really a clear name. I am technically still employed by the Merit Guard, but I have been hired out. I've been hired out by the Cravers.
She looks confused. The gun makers?
Mhm.
What is that? So?
So they have beef with the new king. So do a lot of other people in the city.
Yeah, I've heard.
They're organizing.
Hold on a minute. And she like turns the mug in her hands. You're telling me that you're working with the rebels?
I don't know if I would call it a rebellion yet.
The dissidents?
Sure. If you like.
And you think the best way for all this to get better is what? Change of leadership?
Yeah.
You keep bringing up King Demerick. It's... Why?
Because a change of leadership could be possible.
She, leans back. Well, you have my attention. Gonna need some evidence.
I don't think I am the person that you want to talk to. Because I don't think I have anything that's going to be able to satisfy you. But you're familiar with the line of succession here, the history.
Yeah.
I know you just moved here a couple months ago.
As a
It was
layman.
all new to me. It was new to me too.
Okay.
There is a person who has a pretty good claim to the throne.
Over.
Familiar with him? Over Denmark.
I'm not. I've never been one much for politicking, so I don't know who you're talking about.
Dura Adelon.
The war hero?
Yes.
You see, she leans back and she looks thoughtful. Need you to roll another persuasion check.
Oh shit, did I roll performance? I did. Fortunately, they're both the same bonus.
Oh, so
Sorry
24.
about
That's fine.
that. 24.
Okay. From what I remember, he's got a lot of friends.
Yep. And he's got ties to KO, and he's got ties here. He could
Yeah.
end the war. Bloodlessly.
Okay, Tam, now you have my interest. This is all off the books.
Of course. I'm not. Would it be useful for me to tell you all of this and give you names? And you're a detective?
Yes.
I will tell. My mission. My mission is to try to see if you would work with us or if you would rat us out.
I see.
And you're on the side of the muck. So.
And you're working for the Cravers. And I
Yeah.
heard they're in town.
Yep.
That's why they're in town.
That's why they're in town.
And you're staying at Cavi's.
Yep.
Okay.
Truly, running across your crime scene was an accident.
I know. But it made you a person of interest.
Yeah,
It's not great.
I know.
All right. I'm not going to rat you out. I don't know if I'm on your side yet, but I'm not telling anybody anything. If you had a piece of evidence for me, something that would back up these shaky claims, you know.
What kind of thing would you want? Do you want to talk to Mr. Craver?
That might help. But if you had some physical evidence of foul play, or this riverine I'm hearing about, whatever the fuck Eniga was going on,
Okay. I have on good authority to look into the trains. We can do that.
what about them? What do you mean, look into the trains?
Apparently the trains come in at 9 o'clock, and there's a whole bunch of gold to wash on them every night. Nobody can get close. There's a rumor that some 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid was trying to investigate a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago. I don't know exactly how long, but
Yeah,
he
I
hasn't
heard
been
about
seen
that.
since. Yeah.
I heard it
wouldn't-
was the
I am-
McKays that picked him up.
Yep. Oh, I didn't know that. They seems also kind of suspicious to me that every single business around here is struggling, except for the railway, that has a line out the door for unemployed people. They want to lay more track. That means they have more goods to ship.
Well, they are the main
Maybe
freight
this
line
river-
into town, but
Sure. But it's interesting that they're all about export, but they want all their domestic businesses, except for the ones over in Ferrygate, to close.
you're doing your homework.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into this. I'll look into the tram. I'll see if I can find something as a friendly face. I'll stop by Cavi's in the morning and see if Mr. Craver wants to have a conversation. I need you
Okay.
and your group here to stay out of sight.
We will.
She finishes the mug.
By out of sight, do you mean we can't go back to Cavi's and we should stay here tonight, or are we cool
No,
to
you can
go
go.
back where
You
we
can
were?
go back to Cavi's. I don't care. I'm saying don't get seen around the trams
Don't
while I'm trying
cause
to.
trouble.
Yeah,
Got it.
I
Got
don't
it.
need more problems while I'm investigating my own comrades.
Fair. Yep, fair. By the way, Echo, I rolled a 20 insight when she said that she wouldn't rat us out. Does that get me anything? Do I believe her?
She's telling the truth.
Okay, cool.
She doesn't seem adept at deception
Lying.
or, yeah. She's very plain spoken. That her strength is reading other people, not being the
That's
manipulator.
fair.
If you're right about this, if you're right about all this, then I'm on your side. But if there's nothing here, we never talked.
Got it.
She stands up. She puts silver on the table. Get around. And then she makes her way out.
Okay, crew. Let's go back to our home base.
We're getting around, right? Sigona appears like next to you. Or are we getting Cavies? Because that's fine. It's
You
just
don't
it's
want
on
to get
her.
her. We can get around it. Let's get around to Cavies. Let's get around to Cavies. I want to make sure that I can tell. I'll buy you around to Cavies.
Music to my ears. And as your group makes your way back to Cavies, well, that's where we're going to stop tonight's session, because a whole lot happened.
I would like to just say that I don't know if we're starting with me being like, hello, Mr. Kraber. This person's gonna talk to you to substantiate my claim.
You can say you've warned him. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is. Okay. Woo!
That was so tense.
I hope you had a good time investigating
Oh, yeah.
all of Augur City. Thank you for playing with me. To those of you who are at home or at work listening, hi Pen, hi Emily, hi class,
Ben.
hi everybody else. We love you all, and I wish you all a good night.